A janitor spent 40 years mopping floors, never earned more than $30,000 annually, and wore the same jacket for decades. He died at 78. His estate revealed $3.2 million in stocks and bonds that nobody, not his coworkers, not his neighbors, not even his family, knew existed. That same year, a successful doctor died at 76. High income his entire career, impressive house, luxury cars. His estate, $280,000 in assets, $540,000 in debt. How does the janitor retire a millionaire while the doctor dies broke? The answer isn't luck, inheritance, or secret formulas. It's 12 ancient rules that wealthy people follow religiously while everyone else ignores completely. Most people work their entire lives for money but never truly learn about money. They follow childhood programming, go to school, get a job, save a little, hope it works out. But hope isn't a strategy. These 12 rules are. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth, quietly, systematically, inevitably. Rule number 12 will shock you. 90% of people violate it daily without realizing they're destroying their financial future. If you're ready to stop working for money and make money work for you, comment 12 ancient rules and hit subscribe. Let me show you what the janitor understood that the doctor missed. Rule 1. Learn before you earn. There's an ancient parable about two builders. The first man was eager to build immediately. He skipped the apprenticeship, ignored the master's teachings, and started construction right away. His house looked impressive for 1 year. Tall walls, beautiful decorations. Then the first storm came. The foundation was sand, the walls crooked, the roof weak. Everything collapsed. He lost his materials, his time, and had to start over from nothing. The second builder spent 3 years learning, studying foundations, practicing technique, and understanding materials. Only then did he build. His house stood for generations. This is exactly what happens with money. Lottery winners receive millions without financial education. 70% are broke within 5 years. NFL players earn massive contracts without learning money management. 78% go bankrupt within 3 years of retirement. They built financial houses on sand because they earned before they learned. Knowledge is the foundation. Money is the structure. Build the structure before the foundation, and collapse is guaranteed. Learn how money works, saving, investing, taxes, compound interest, debt traps, before the money arrives. Otherwise, you'll watch it disappear as fast as it came. Lesson: foundation before fortune, or fortune crumbles. Start this week. Read one book about personal finance. Just one. The Richest Man in Babylon or The Psychology of Money. 30 days, one book. Build your foundation before chasing bigger paychecks. Consider two friends who each received a $250,000 legal settlement. The first spent immediately. New car, vacations, gifts, gone in 3 years. The second spent 6 months reading books, taking courses, and consulting mentors. Then invest carefully. 10 years later, the first had nothing. The second had $680,000 and growing. Same starting point, different foundation. One learned first, one earned first. Only one kept the money. Remember, fortune without foundation crumbles. Foundation without fortune builds itself. Rule 2. Money is a tool, not the goal. Imagine a man who fell in love with hammers. He collected 1,000 beautiful hammers, displayed them on walls, polished them daily, showed them to visitors with pride. People admired his collection. But here's what nobody noticed. He never built anything. Not a house, not a fence, not even a birdhouse. When he died, his family inherited 1,000 hammers and nothing else. No home he'd built, no furniture he'd crafted, no legacy of creation. Just hammers. Most people treat money the same way. They chase it, collect it, admire the numbers in their account, but never ask the crucial question: what am I building with this tool? Money isn't the destination, it's the vehicle. A hammer's value comes from what you build with it. Money's value comes from what it enables. Freedom to pursue dreams, security for your family, time with people you love, education that transforms your life, a business that serves your community. These are meaningful. Money is just the tool that makes them possible. When you make money the goal itself, you chase it forever. Work endless hours, sacrifice health, damage relationships, all for a number that never feels like enough. But when you see money as a tool serving a larger purpose, everything changes. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop making fear-based decisions. You start asking better questions. Lesson: a tool unused is a purpose wasted. This week, write down your actual life vision, not a dollar amount. What do you want to build? Then ask, how much money would serve this vision? That's your real target. A man chased 5 million for 20 years, hit the target at 52, and felt empty. He'd wanted time with grandchildren, not a number. He'd spent money for 2 decades when money should have served him. Remember, money should carry you to your destination. Don't mistake the vehicle for the place you're going. Rule 3. Understanding assets versus liabilities. 2 farmers started with equal savings. The first bought a shiny new tractor. Expensive, impressive, everyone admired it, but he rarely used it. It sat in his barn, depreciating, requiring insurance, maintenance, and storage. 10 years later, the tractor was worth half what he paid, and he'd spent thousands keeping it. The second farmer bought 3 dairy cows. Not impressive. Nobody took photos, but those cows produced milk every single day. He sold the milk, bought more cows. 10 years later, he owned a herd of 30 cows, generating steady income. The tractor farmer had a rusting machine. The cow farmer had a multiplying asset. This is the difference between assets and liabilities that separates the wealthy from the broke. An asset puts money into your pocket, dividend stocks, rental properties, businesses, and skills that increase your earning power. A liability takes money out, fancy cars with payments, big houses with taxes and maintenance, designer clothes that lose value immediately. Most people buy liabilities thinking they're buying assets. The expensive car, the oversized home, the luxury items, they look like wealth, but they bleed you monthly. Real wealth comes from things that feed you while you sleep. Lesson: what feeds stays, what bleeds leaves. This week, list everything you own. Mark each item. Does it put money in my pocket or take money out? Your goal is simple. Buy more assets, minimize liabilities. Before any purchase, ask, will this feed me or bleed me? A man bought an $80,000 BMW, looked successful, felt successful, but it cost him $1,200 monthly between payments, insurance, and maintenance. His friend bought a $15,000 Honda and invested the $65,000 difference in dividend stocks. 10 years later, the BMW guy had a worthless car and empty pockets. The Honda guy had a paid-off car and a portfolio worth $160,000 paying him annually. Remember, assets work while you sleep. Liabilities drain while you dream. Rule 4. Your circle affects your wallet. An ancient story tells of 2 men at a crossroads. The first saw 5 travelers heading toward a swamp. They must know the way, he thought, and followed. All 6 ended up stuck in mud, unable to escape. The second man saw 5 different travelers climbing toward a mountain peak. He joined them. Together, they reached the summit and saw the kingdom spread below. Your financial destination follows your companions. Spend time with 5 people who waste money, complain about being broke, and live paycheck to paycheck. You become the 6th. Not because you want to, but because habits spread like diseases. You hear constant talk about new purchases, lifestyle upgrades, and spending patterns. Slowly, these become your norm. You stop believing there's a better way. But surround yourself with 5 people focused on saving, investing, and building wealth. Your thinking transforms. You hear different conversations about compound interest, smart purchases, and long-term planning. Their standards become your standards. Their discipline rubs off on you. Studies prove this. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your income, your debt levels, and even your financial stress mirror your closest circle. It's not about snobbery, it's about survival. Lesson: your destination follows your companions. This week, honestly audit your 5 closest friends. Are they where you want to be financially? If not, find one person ahead of you to learn from monthly. Join a paid financial community. Free groups attract tourists. Paid groups attract the committed. A woman surrounded by friends who leased luxury cars felt pressure to keep up. Spent $4,000 monthly on appearances despite earning $90,000. Switched to an online financial independence community. New Circle lived on $40,000 and invested aggressively. 4 years later, she had $120,000 invested. Remember, walk with those climbing mountains, not those heading towards swamps. Rule 5. Save like poor, invest like rich. A farmer received seeds as an inheritance. His neighbor kept seeds in his pocket, safe, protected, never touched. 20 years later, he still had the same seeds. They'd aged, some rotted, but he'd saved them. The wise farmer planted his seeds in fertile soil. First year, they became seedlings. Second year, small trees. By year 5, those trees produced fruit. By year 20, he had an orchard producing thousands of fruits annually from the original handful of seeds. This is the difference between saving and investing. Saving keeps money safe but stagnant. Inflation slowly destroys its value, 5% loss yearly. Your money sits like seeds in a pocket, aging but never growing. Investing plants your money where it multiplies. Stocks, real estate, businesses, these turn hundreds into thousands, thousands into millions. Most people save obsessively but never invest. They work hard, spend little, put money in savings accounts earning 1% while inflation steals 5%. They're losing 4% annually while thinking they're being responsible. The truly wealthy save aggressively but invest immediately. They understand money sitting idle is an opportunity dying. Lesson: safety without growth is slow death. This week, calculate how much you have in pure savings accounts. Keep 6 months of expenses there for emergencies. Everything else? Open an investment account. Start with low-cost index funds. Even $50 monthly invested at 8% becomes $73,000 in 30 years. $0 invested becomes $0 forever. 2 friends saved $500 monthly starting at 25. First kept everything in savings, 40 years later had $240,000, barely ahead of inflation. Second invested in index funds, 40 years later had $3.5 million. Same discipline, same amount monthly. One planted seeds, one kept them in a pocket. Remember, seeds in your pocket stay seeds. Seeds in soil become forests. Rule 6. Don't depend on one source of income. An ancient merchant put all his goods on one ship crossing the sea. This ship is strong, he assured himself. The ship sank in a storm. He lost everything: his goods, his future, his family's security. Another merchant spread identical goods across 7 ships. 3 ships sank in the same storm, but 4 ships arrived safely. He lost some cargo but remained wealthy. 1 ship meant total vulnerability. 7 ships meant survival. Your income works the same way. 1 job, 1 paycheck, 1 point of failure. Company downsizes, industry changes, health issues arise, that single income disappears, and your entire life collapses. You're the merchant with 1 ship, praying storms never come. Wealthy people build multiple income streams, not because they're greedy, because they're smart. They might have their primary job, dividend stocks paying quarterly, a rental property, a side consulting business, an online course, or royalties from a book. Each stream individually is modest. Together they create unshakable security. 1 stream dries up, 5 others keep flowing. Lesson: 1 stream is fragile, 7 streams are unbreakable. Start small this year. Keep your job, but add 1 additional stream. Freelance your skills. Rent a spare room. Create digital products. Invest in dividend stocks. Don't try building 7 streams overnight. Add 1 per year. By year 5, you're anti-fragile, essentially unfireable, unbreakable. When 2008 hit, a man lost his $95,000 job. He had no other income streams. Panic, stress, 8 months of scrambling. His colleague lost the same job but had 3 additional streams: $12,000 in dividends, $8,000 from rental property, and $6,000 from freelancing. Lost 1 stream but kept $26,000 flowing. Took freelancing full-time, found a better job later, never panicked. Remember, 1 income source is gambling. 7 income sources are building an empire. Rule 7. Work to learn, not just to earn. 2 young men became apprentices. The first chose the highest paying position, simple, repetitive work that required no new skills. He earned well immediately, but learned nothing. 10 years passed doing the same tasks. The second chose a lower-paying apprenticeship under a master craftsman. He earned less but learned carpentry, metalwork, design, and business management. By year 10, the first man still performed the same repetitive task for the same pay, easily replaceable. The second had become a master himself, commanding 3 times the income and sought after across the region. Early in your career, the worst question you can ask is, how much will I get paid? The right question is, how much will I grow? Skills are portable wealth that nobody can take from you. Your salary disappears the moment you spend it. But skills compound forever. Negotiation, leadership, sales, problem solving. These abilities increase your value permanently. Many people chase the highest paycheck and miss the deepest learning. They work 10 years but gain 1 year of experience repeated 10 times. Meanwhile, those who work to learn gain 10 years of compounding expertise. Their market value explodes because they become irreplaceable. Lesson: what you learn stays, what you earn leaves. This week, list 3 valuable skills you could develop in your current role. Sales techniques, project management, public speaking. Pick one and commit to mastering it this year. Don't just work for the paycheck. Extract every lesson possible from your position. A woman took a lower-paying job at a startup to learn digital marketing, analytics, and growth strategies. Her friend took a higher-paying corporate role doing routine tasks. 5 years later, the friend earned $85,000 doing the same work. The woman earned $180,000 because she'd become a rare expert in high-value skills. She worked to learn while her friend worked to earn. Remember, money spent disappears. Skills learned multiply your earning power forever. Rule 8. Money flows to value. In a village, 2 men needed money. The first carried water from the river to houses. 1 bucket, 1 trip, 1 payment. He worked 12 hours daily, carried 100 buckets, and earned 100 coins. Exhausting work. The second man spent months digging a well and building an aqueduct system. The village paid him for decades because he'd solved their water problem permanently. He created value once and got paid repeatedly. You're not paid for your time. You're paid for the value you create. Work 10 hours or 100 hours, it doesn't matter. What matters is how many people you help and how much their problem matters to them. The water carrier helped 100 people minimally. The well builder helped the entire village permanently. Guess who became wealthy? This principle explains everything. Build a product that helps 10 people, earn from 10. Build a product that helps 10,000, earn from 10,000. Same effort, different scale of value. Employees who solve bigger company problems get promoted faster. Entrepreneurs who solve urgent, widespread problems become millionaires. Lesson: value multiplies, time doesn't. This week, ask yourself 2 questions. What problems do I solve for others? And how can I help more people or solve bigger problems? Your income will follow your answers. Shift from trading hours for dollars to creating scalable value. 2 programmers worked equally hard. The first built custom websites one at a time, helped 1 client monthly, earned $5,000 monthly. The second built a software tool that helped 1,000 businesses simultaneously earn $50,000 monthly. Same skills, same hours worked. But the second multiplied his value, while the first limited himself to individual transactions. Remember, money doesn't chase hard workers, it chases value creators. Be valuable at scale. Rule 9. Avoid lifestyle inflation. A family lived comfortably in a modest house. The father received a promotion, doubling his income. Immediately, they moved to a mansion twice the size. The bigger house needed more servants to maintain it. More servants required more rooms, which meant an even larger house. More expenses followed: higher property taxes, expensive furniture, lavish gatherings to match their new status. 20 years later, despite earning 5 times his original salary, the father worked harder than ever, stressed about money, with nothing saved. His lifestyle had expanded to consume every raise. This trap destroys more wealth than any market crash. When income rises, expenses rise faster. You tell yourself, I deserve this, I worked hard. And while celebrating success isn't wrong, turning luxuries into necessities creates a prison. The upgraded car comes with higher insurance. The bigger house brings property taxes and maintenance costs. Fancy restaurants become weekly habits. Your salary doubled, but your savings didn't increase. You just bought a more expensive version of being broke. The wealthy do the opposite. When income grows, lifestyle stays the same. They live on yesterday's income while investing today's raise. The gap between earning and spending, that's where wealth lives. Lesson: expanding lifestyle collapses wealth. This week, if you've had any raise in the past year, ask, where did that extra money go? If it disappeared into lifestyle upgrades, freeze your spending at last year's level. Redirect raises into investments, not expenses. 2 co-workers both received promotions from $60,000 to $90,000. First immediately upgraded apartment, car, and wardrobe. At $90,000 income, spent $88,000 yearly. Second kept living on $60,000, invested the $30,000 difference. 5 years later, I had first saved $5,000 despite a higher income. Second had $170,000 invested and was approaching financial independence. Remember, rising income with rising expenses equals an eternal treadmill. Rising income with frozen expenses equals freedom. Rule 10. Delayed gratification. A wise teacher offered children a choice: eat 1 sweet immediately or wait 10 minutes for 2 sweets. Most grabbed the single sweet, devoured it, and watched enviously as patient children received double rewards. Years later, researchers tracked these children. Those who waited built successful careers, stable finances, and wealth. Those who grabbed immediately struggled with debt, impulse purchases, and financial stress. The ability to delay that single childhood moment predicted their entire financial future. Delayed gratification is resisting immediate pleasure for larger future rewards. It's choosing to invest $1,000 today instead of spending it on instant satisfaction. That invested $1,000 becomes $2,000, then $5,000, eventually $50,000. The patience to wait transforms scarcity into abundance. Modern life attacks this skill constantly. Buy now, pay later. One-click purchasing. Instant delivery. Everything screams, you deserve this now. But wealthy people train themselves to pause, to question, to wait. Each time you resist impulse spending and choose investing instead, you strengthen your wealth-building muscle. Lesson: now's pleasure is tomorrow's poverty. This week, practice the 48-hour rule. Before any non-essential purchase over $50, wait 48 hours. Write down what you want to buy and why. Revisit in 2 days. Most impulses fade. The money you don't spend, immediately invest. 2 25-year-olds each earned $70,000. First spent freely, new clothes, dining out, latest gadgets, enjoying youth. Second, delayed gratification, invested aggressively, lived modestly. Both worked for 40 years. First reached 65 with minimal savings, facing decades more work. Second retired at 55 with $2 million, bought back 20 years of life. Same starting point. One chooses now's pleasure repeatedly. One chose tomorrow's freedom consistently. Remember, discipline today purchases freedom tomorrow. Indulgence today purchases servitude forever. Rule 11. Use money to buy time. 2 merchants started with equal wealth. The first did everything himself to save money, delivered goods personally, cleaned his shop, managed accounts, ran errands. "I'm saving money," he said proudly, spending 12 hours daily on tasks. 20 years later, he still ran a small shop, exhausted and trapped. The second merchant hired others for routine tasks, delivery, cleaning, and bookkeeping. "I'm buying time," he explained, spending the freed hours building relationships, studying markets, and planning expansion. 20 years later, he owned a merchant empire across 5 cities. The first saved small amounts on labor. The second bought irreplaceable time and used it to build an empire. Time is the only truly finite resource. Money can be earned back. Health can be improved, but minutes lost are gone forever. The smartest financial move isn't hoarding every dollar. It's using money strategically to reclaim hours, days, and years of your life. Buying time means hiring house cleaning so you can spend weekends with family instead of scrubbing floors. Paying for meal delivery so evenings are free to learn new skills. Outsourcing tasks that drain energy but don't create value. Each purchased hour is an investment in what actually matters: relationships, growth, rest, or building wealth. Lesson: saved money disappears, bought time multiplies. This week, calculate your effective hourly rate, annual income divided by work hours. Now identify tasks consuming your time that cost less per hour than you earn. Hire them out. Use freed time to earn more, learn more, or rest more. A man spent 10 hours weekly on household chores, errands, and maintenance. His time was worth $50 hourly, meaning he wasted $500 in opportunity cost weekly. Hired help for $200 weekly, used the freed 10 hours to build a consulting business, earning $800. Net gain, $600 weekly by buying time. Remember, money returns when spent wisely. Time never returns once spent foolishly. Rule 12. Never stop learning about money. A student learned to read and declared, "I'm educated, I'm finished." He never opened another book. 20 years passed. The world changed dramatically. New technologies, new systems, new opportunities. His ancient knowledge became useless. He struggled while others who kept learning thrived and adapted. Financial education works identically. Learning money basics once, budgeting, saving, simple investing, isn't enough. Money rules evolve constantly. Cryptocurrencies emerge. Tax laws change. New investment vehicles appear. Economic systems shift. The person who stops learning becomes financially illiterate, even if they once understood money perfectly. Wealthy people make learning about money a lifelong habit. They read financial news monthly, listen to economics podcasts, study investment strategies, ask questions, stay curious. This continuous education helps them spot opportunities others miss, avoid scams others fall for, and adapt when rules change. Knowledge protects wealth and creates wealth simultaneously. The beautiful truth: learning costs almost nothing but pays infinite returns. One article monthly, one podcast weekly, one conversation with someone knowledgeable. Small, consistent inputs create massive understanding over decades. Lesson: knowledge that stops growing starts dying. This week, commit to one tiny learning habit. Read one financial article weekly, listen to one money podcast during commutes, or watch one educational video monthly. Make it automatic, non-negotiable, permanent. Compound knowledge like you compound interest. Two investors started with identical portfolios in 2000. First, he never updated his knowledge, missed cryptocurrency, ignored changing tax strategies, and didn't understand new investment tools. Portfolio grew modestly. Second, dedicated 30 minutes weekly to financial education. Learned about emerging opportunities, tax optimization, and global diversification. Same starting point, but continuous learning generated 3 times the returns by 2020. Remember, your mind is your greatest asset. It appreciates faster than any stock if you keep investing in its education. 12 rules. Not complicated formulas or secret strategies, just 12 ancient principles that separate those who build wealth from those who chase it forever. The janitor with $3.2 million followed these rules quietly for 40 years. The doctor with debt ignored them despite a high income. Same amount of time, opposite outcomes. The difference wasn't intelligence, luck, or inheritance. It was discipline applied to timeless wisdom. This week, choose one rule to master completely. Just one. Learn before you earn. Read your first money book. Assets versus liabilities. Audit what feeds versus bleeds you. Delayed gratification. Practice the 48-hour rule. Start simple. Build systematically. Comment which rule resonated most and why. Share this with someone stuck in the earning but never building cycle. Hit subscribe for more wealth-building wisdom that actually works. Remember, money doesn't come to the smartest or strongest. It comes to those who understand and follow the rules. The janitor proved it. Now it's your turn. The ancient path is always the simple path.